faculty on stage to please stand and be recognized. Audience, please give the University of Faculty a great big hand, please. So now I'd like to welcome Darnell Z. Blackburn, founder and owner of Pratt LLC, to deliver our keynote speech.
Thank you to Dr. Cardwell, distinguished guests, faculty, for the opportunity to come in and speak before you today. Congratulations to the parents, to the brothers, the sisters, the moms, the dads, those of you who supported these people. Congratulations. Now, before I get going, we got to kind of set the tone. So graduates, I need you to stand up for just a few seconds. I've been working on my selfie game, so we're going to get a couple selfies, just real quick. Real quick. Let's go. Uh-oh. Game suspect. Okay, let's see. It's suspect. All right, cool. All right, now sit down. Here's what we need to do, because I got death threats about my time earlier. I won't tell you who threatened me, but I got to make sure I'm on time. So a couple things. As we proceed through this little Easter speech today, what I'd like for you guys to do is I'd like for you to tag everything at hashtag UOP the D 2018. UOP the D 2018. Y'all got that? So pictures and everything. Let's make Phoenix 2018 Detroit great, not America, because we're going to make it great here. That's good? All right. So we can tag things like my commencement speaker is better than everybody else, or we can tag things like my commencement speaker is the man, whatever you decide. So here's what we do. Most people think that in order for you to be a successful college graduate that you have to have two attributes. The first is that you have to be a good student. The second is that you have to be committed. Well, the truth of the matter is that's not necessarily the case. And I'll explain to you why in a few seconds. But Annette kind of stole some of my thunder, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. She talked about a story, hashtagable moment. Your story is your glory. Got it? Hashtagable moment, because it's the truth. So I want to tell you a quick story, but you got to promise to keep this story a secret, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. So this particular guy that I know, he had mediocre grades in high school, but somehow he ended up graduating from high school and making it to college. Now, when he got to college, even though he had mediocre grades, he made the dean's list every other semester. That sounds good, right? Okay, so he made the dean's list every other semester. Now, anybody ever been mad at somebody or had somebody kind of tick you off? You know how you put them on the blank list, fill in the blank with your mind? You know about that? See, it wasn't good for him because he was on the dean's blank list because he was on academic probation every other semester. That's the list he actually made. So with that being said, I know most of you all don't know what academic probation is, so I'll explain it to you. I know most of you don't. Like, you look like you're very well studied. You look very intelligent. You look brilliant. You kind of look like the guy I'm talking about, so you might know what academic probation is. I'm not sure, though. I'm just joking. So academic probation, for those of you who don't know, is when your GPA is so low that you have to get your grades up in order to stay in college. You have to maintain a certain level. So this particular guy, he was on academic probation his freshman year, his sophomore year, his junior year, his senior year. His senior year, he spent a couple extra years because of academic probation. But the thing about it was that he still graduated. That was the coolest thing about this particular thing. He graduated with his bachelor's degree from undergrad. Now, this story is a secret because this particular person was raised by his grandmother. His grandmother never knew he spent so much time on academic probation because he wouldn't have to worry about graduating because she would have killed him had she known. So I need you not to tell his story to his grandmother who was in the building, because snitches get stitches. Remember that. So, I'm sorry, I'm back. So, with regard to this, I want to fast forward a few years later. This same guy who was a mediocre student decides that he's going to go and get a master's degree. Now, he barely graduated from undergrad. So my question to this guy is, who does that? This guy. Thank you guys. See, remember earlier when I said that your story is your glory? See, this thing is really, really true because you don't have to be a good student to graduate from college. You just got to be the best student that you can be to graduate from college. The other thing that you don't have to be, or I don't want you to be, is committed. I actually want you to be non-committed to quitting and giving up on the goal that you set for yourself. That's why you are sitting here right now today, because you did not quit. This particular guy, he knew he wasn't going to be a 4.0 student. He knew he wasn't going to be magna cum laude or summa cum laude. He was actually, as I heard somebody say, a thank you, Lordy, because he barely made it. Never would have made it. Sorry, just probably my head. But most importantly, he was non-committed to quitting and giving up. See, this guy, he knew come heck or high water, come feast or famine, come poor or poor, because ain't no such thing as a rich college student unless y'all know something I don't. But he knew no matter what, he was going to graduate and get that undergraduate degree. So to this day, his degrees don't say 2.0, they don't say 4.0. They say Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. And even better yet, Master's in Business Administration from the University of Phoenix. Which leads this guy to where he stands today in front of you. I told you that your story is your glory. See, the whole thing is that I saw myself standing here giving this commencement speech. I visualized it, I seen it, and now I'm doing it just like you can do it. I knew that this day would come to pass, and you can ask Dr. Cardwell, because I sure said it to her enough times that I would be here, and I sure am standing here doing it. Almost 11 years to the day, I sat where you were sitting. I wore what you were wearing, and I thought what you were thinking. How long is this guy going to talk? Because I'm so hungry that my stomach is touching my back right now. I promise I'm almost done with that being said. I got to get into the theme, though. I got to jump in. So our theme today is Phoenix for life, or like I like to say, forever a Phoenix. Now, most people would consider forever a very long time. And we've all heard the saying, nothing lasts forever. Good. Now, like it was defined earlier, we'll talk about this a little bit later. According to Google.com, forever is defined as for always, for all future time, and continually. For always, for all future time, and continually. So in order for there to be a forever anything, there must be a future something. Think about that. You catch it later. Hashtagable moment. If you miss any of these hashtagable moments, shameless plug, you can check me out at Pratt LLC, Facebook, Darnell Blackburn at Gmail, whatever you like, you can find me. But let's talk about these forevers. Now, there's some things that are good forevers and there's some bad forevers. I'm going to talk about some bad forevers, but I'm going to swing back around to the good ones, and I promise I won't hold you long. But whether we talk good or bad, the one thing I want you to always remember, even if it's a bad forever, is that there's always, according to this definition, a future. So that means that even if it's a bad forever, like some of you experienced, it can work out in your favor. So what type of negative forever experiences have affected you getting where you are today? Maybe you've experienced a negative forever circumstance, like someone I know who grew up in foster care, going from house to house at the age of 7. And at 9 years old, being placed with a family for the next 9 years that was verbally and physically abusive. Maybe you've experienced a negative forever diagnosis, like a young man I know who at 7 years old was misdiagnosed for 1 year with a cancerous brain tumor that caused him to have multiple surgeries, lose sight in one eye, and go through 2 years of chemotherapy. Maybe you've experienced a negative forever accident, like the young lady I know who at 2 years old was in a terrible car accident. The young lady was in the care of her babysitter who was transporting her somewhere, and the sitter did not put this baby in a car seat that the parents gave her, and she ran a red light. leaving this little girl paralyzed due to the babysitter's negligence. Some of us have heard negative forever statements like, you will never graduate because you will be in school forever. Or you will be broke forever. Or you will be nothing forever. Some of us have even made these negative declarations over our own lives, like, I will never graduate because I will be in school. Or I will be broke. Or I will be nothing. Well, I know these are bleak and horrible, lowly examples of forevers, but I promise I'll get to the positive ones. But I got to define a phoenix. Actually, Annette just defined a phoenix for me, and I want to just jump on it for just a minute to talk about our theme. A phoenix is a mythological unique bird that lived for 5 or 6 centuries in the Arabian desert. After the time it lived, it burned itself on a funeral pyre, which is the equivalent of a crematory. I got to go to my teacher mode, teach y'all about that. Then it would rise from the ashes to live through another life cycle. So in your newly educated, sophisticated imaginations, I want you to visualize this beautiful bird soaring throughout the sky. The bird lived for centuries, but it knew that it must go through extreme heat, go through fire, be burned into ashes, all this in order to be renewed, rejuvenated, and reborn. See, those negative forever things that you experiences, diagnosis, accidents, statements, and even declarations, they were your heat, your fire, and your ashes. They were all the challenges that you had to go through to sit right here today. You didn't know it at the time, but they burned you in order for you to be renewed, rejuvenated, and reborn. All those negative forever statements and declarations would normally cause despair, dejection, and depression. But when you're forever a phoenix, they create positive affirmations. Because in your forever, or in other words, as the definition states, for all future time, for always and continually, instead of thinking about how growing up in foster care has affected your life negatively, you can be like the woman who I was referring to, who grew up in foster care, who's the first college graduate in her family. And that woman vows to forever take care of her family so they don't have to grow up like she did. And she's also my fiance. Instead of thinking about how cancer has forever caused an irreparable damage to your life, you can be like the young man I was talking about, who is thankful for the sight that he has in the other eye and who pledges to volunteer and help raise money for cancer research, as he has done every year while he was in college. He traveled to Florida to volunteer at the same resort that he went to when he was first diagnosed, who also, might I add, is my son, Darrell Blackburn, who just graduated from Oakland University in April of this year with his bachelor's degree and is getting his master's degree right away. Instead of thinking about how someone else's negligence changed your life forever and caused paraplegia, you can be like the young lady I was referring to, who promises forever to not let her disability define her, or the fact that her legs don't work ever limit her mind that works just fine. She's a beautiful young woman who is self-sufficient, who just finished her 2nd year at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor and will be starting her 3rd year in the fall to become a lawyer when she graduates, who happens to be my daughter, Kayla Blackburn. See, instead of thinking about how someone said you will never graduate because you'll be in school forever, say to yourself and to them that you will be forever a student of life, using the lessons that you learn daily to better yourself and others around you. Instead of thinking about how someone said you will forever be broke, say to yourself and them, I will forever be wealthy, as my wealth is not measured by only monetary value, but by peace of mind, tranquility, and the well-being of the people that I love. Instead of thinking about how someone told you you will forever be nothing, say to yourself and them, I will forever be something because of what it means to be forever a phoenix. So watch this. My background is in law enforcement. Y'all don't come for me. I know some people don't like cops. There's some good ones though. But my background is in law enforcement. In order to become a police officer, you got to go through an academy. It consists of long days of classroom material, longer nights of reading, studying, blood, sweat, tears, pushing yourself beyond measure that you ever could imagine physically, mentally, emotionally. Does this sound familiar to anybody? So once you complete your training, you feel like there's nothing that you can't accomplish, just like you feel today. So today, what I want you to do is, I want every graduate in the building to stand. If you give me the house lights for just a second, we're done. Every graduate, whether you graduated from elementary school, middle school, everybody, I don't care where you graduate, whatever school, podunk school, stand. What I want you to do is do this. I want you to repeat after me because you are all forever a phoenix. So I want you to raise your right hand. Let's take an oath. Repeat after me. I am forever a phoenix, which means my failures fall off me as ashes. I will rise above my obstacles, using them as stepping stones to overcome my fears, my failures, and my faults. For always, my future will continually be filled with rebirth, rejuvenation, and renewal to reach my goals. I will rise, I will rise, I will rise, because I am forever a phoenix. God bless you all. Do it.
At least 8 years, Darnell has been asking me, can he speak at graduation? At least 8. I will rise. Darnell, thank you for inspiring us today. And now,